Order. Let me call to order the meeting of the California Community Colleges Board of Governors. Welcome to our May meeting. What is this? This is Asian Pacific American Islander Month, I think. Yeah, API month. It's also a month of birthdays. Board of Governors member Avalos, a fellow Taurian. Okay, so let me do this. We'll please call the roll.
Arnaldo Avalos. Here. Jeff Baum.
Here.
Joseph Belinsky.
Here.
Scott Budnick. Connie Conway. Iman Dalili. Here. Tom Epstein.
Here.
Cecilia Estelano.
Here.
Danny Hawkins.
Here.
Pamela Haynes.
Here.
Hassan Khan. Here. Deborah Malamit. Jennifer Perry.
Here.
Mon Fon.
Here.
Gary Reed. Here. Valerie Shaw. Here. Nancy Sumner.
Here. Great. Okay. Board of Governors member Fon, do you mind saying the Pledge of Allegiance, leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. Please rise and put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, so we're on to the President's report, which will be brief. In the last couple of months, really, myself and board member Valerie Shaw, we spent a fair amount of time preparing for our Senate confirmation hearing, and we just had our Senate Rules Committee hearing last week, and it went well, so on to the full Senate in 2 weeks, I think. So I want to thank Laura Mattoon for all of her assistance in helping us prepare, leading us through the process. It was very smooth. And that's kind of really it. We'll hear more about this later in the agenda about the Governor's May revise. Very positive for us here in the community college system. We'll hear more about that from Mario Rodriguez. And that concludes my report as president. Chancellor Oakley.
I will be less brief, but thank you. Well, thank you all for being here, and happy Monday. I have a couple of recognitions and just a few brief updates. First of all, as we will get into it a little bit later on the agenda, but we are honoring the classified staff today. And although this is Classified Appreciation Month and we're highlighting the classified staff today, really the classified staff are celebrated by our system 365 days a year. Without the support of the classified staff, our colleges would not function as they do. And being someone who freshly off a college campus, I can't even imagine the number of students that the classified staff touch every single day and the success that they breed on every single one of our campuses. So thank you on behalf of the entire system and more than 2.1 million students to all the classified staff for your dedication. I also want to thank Governor Brown. We will hear more about the May revise, but I want to thank him for his continued confidence in the California community colleges. In particular, in the governor's budget is a sizable increase in base funding for our colleges. And this is a very important element of funding for the 113 colleges, because base funding really goes to increase the per student funding, allows us to better serve students, allows us to better train and support the classified staff, our faculty, and to keep our colleges running. As we move forward and as revenues continue to plateau and hopefully not decline too much, but we have to recognize the ongoing expenses of the 113 colleges. And I hope that we all, as a system, work hard to ensure that that base funding stays in our budget, because it is something that's important to every element, every segment of our 113 colleges. So we will be working hard to work with the legislature to ensure that funding stays in place. Also want to recognize a letter from the governor, which was a surprise but not a surprise, since he's been talking about this topic for most of his last 6.5+ years as governor. But on May 11th, I received a letter which is at the seat of all the members of the Board of Governors, as well as there's copies for the public, asking me as Chancellor to put together a plan, and the way he put it, to establish a new community college that exclusively offers fully online degree programs. Now, certainly we are very much enthusiastic about the call to action. We will certainly pull together some of the brightest people in our system to think about this question, and we will get back to the governor in November after, of course, consulting with the Board of Governors. This is an exciting call to action. Whether or not a new college is exactly what we need to do in order to fulfill the governor's desire here, and to ensure that we do it in a way that's consistent with the mission of the California Community Colleges. But I think it's another example of the confidence the governor has in the California Community Colleges and this Board of Governors. So I'm excited about the opportunity to work with our system to think about this. I will be working with Board President Estelano and Vice President Epstein on how we pull together a group of folks from the system to think this through, and then present updates to the Board of Governors as we approach the November timeline. I also want to thank the hundreds of respondents to the virtual town hall. We're coming to the end of that, and I want to thank the many, many faculty and staff from throughout the system that has provided us their input. Again, rest assured that that input is being received by the folks who are putting together a draft of the strategic vision for the Chancellor, and those responses are an integral part of what we're going to receive in July here at the Board of Governors meeting. A few more thank yous. First of all, I want to thank the Student Senate for the California Community Colleges for inviting me to their recent conference. It was a wonderful opportunity to interact with the student leadership of the California Community Colleges. I can tell you that the future is bright for California. These were a tremendous, great group of students, and it was a pleasure having the opportunity to speak to them. I also want to thank members and supporters of the Puente program for hosting me at a reception a few weeks back. It was a wonderful opportunity to speak to and talk with great advocates for our students, and we look forward to continued partnership with the Puente program. I also want to remind us all that we are in the middle, or at the beginning, of the commencement season. And it's a little odd for me not getting ready for commencement right now, but it reminds me that this is really what we're all about. And it's worth taking a moment to think about the thousands of students who will be receiving some of the best college credentials in the nation over the next few weeks, and the honor we have in serving them and getting them ready to do the great things that they're going to do. And so on behalf of all of our students in 113 colleges, I just want to thank everyone who's had a hand in helping our students get to that podium and receive that credential. A few last thank yous. Recently, we had the pleasure of appointing a new special trustee for Compton College. Compton is on its way to becoming fully accredited again, and they've done a lot of great things to get themselves to this point. So I want to thank Mr. Gene Farrell, who is the new special trustee for the Compton district. I also want to thank Deputy Chancellor Skinner for stepping in the meantime and attending a few board meetings and being the special trustee. They've done a lot of great work, and for Special Trustee Henry, who served as our representative to Compton for many years. We're very pleased with the work that's going on at Compton, and we look forward to all the great work that's going to happen there. And then finally, today is the last meeting of Student Board of Governor Member Khan. Thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and as always, you've represented the students tremendously well, and we look forward to hearing all the great things that you're going to do in the future. So thank you for your service. And that's all I have.
You will be missed, Hassan. You've been wonderful. All right. Thank you, Chancellor. I think we're going to take an item out of order. We'd like to start with item 4.1, which is the 2017 Classified Staff of the Year Awards. I think Board Member Hawkins will be presenting this item.
Good morning. Thank you, President Estolano, Chancellor Oakley, members of the board. My name is Danny Hawkins, a classified professional, and it is my honor to present this year's winners of the Community College Classified Employees of the Year. To start off, we have Ashley Shalonis. Ashley is from Oxnard College, is the sole instructional technologist designer, and has served the district for 6 years. Ashley is instrumental in instructing and supporting faculty, staff, and students in the use of technologies to support student learning and student success. She is dedicated to improving distance education as a pathway to student learning. Ashley provides online teaching workshops to ensure instructor readiness for online instruction. She also is a leader of the district-wide technology and instructional technology advisory committee as a senior instructional technology designer in the district, and collaborates with the committee members to identify, develop, and evaluate areas in which technology can be applied to enhance teaching and learning. Through this committee, Ashley has fostered collaboration and created a culture of mutual support among her colleagues at the other colleges in the district. Outside of her duties at Oxnard, Ashley is active in her community. In addition to serving on the executive board of the Simi Valley Neighborhood Council, she is an advocate for foster youth. A licensed foster parent, Ashley volunteers as a youth leader and mentor to youth ranging in age from junior high through college. Ashley and her family also rescue and foster cats and dogs throughout her community. Congratulations, Ashley.
Thank you so much for this recognition and for inviting us up here to receive the award. And thank you for the nice reception. I appreciate that. And I'm down in Southern California, so I don't have the opportunity to be up here or to witness this meeting. This is really nice. First, I wanted to thank my colleagues that nominated me. That was a huge surprise. They got together and thought they told me, Ashley does a lot of things. I think maybe she could win. So they were very sweet and worked on that application and informed me it was quite long. I also want to thank the classified Senate presidents that are at Moore Park College and Oxnard College, where I've worked for the Ventura County Community College District. They're encouraging and great leaders for our classified staff, always making sure that classified staff feel like they are important, like they do all the things that you're saying that we do. So really appreciate that. Most importantly, I need to thank my parents, Jerry and Barry Rudman, who are probably the biggest California community college advocates in the universe. And they raised me at Irvine Valley College, and then when I got the position at Moore Park College as the instructional technologist, it was a part of my life. It wasn't really a new job. It was just like returning. And then I'd like to thank my husband, Adam, for keeping me sane and giving up his birthday every August for Flex Week, where I put on the Ashley Show. So, okay, and that's thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So Ashley will be coming to talk to you about the governor's letter soon.
Okay, our next recipient is Zoilema Martin from Costa Consa College. Zoilema is a liberal arts division secretary, oh boy, and has served the district for 15 years. She is an exceptional staff member who represents all the values included in the district and college mission. She is committed to extremely high professional standards. She is welcoming, calm, kind, knowledgeable, and helpful to students, faculty, and staff. She is an expert in all facets of her job, particularly those aspects related to budgeting and accounting procedures. Moreover, she is the go-to admin at the college. That's a huge burden to carry. She provides training to not only other administrative secretaries, but to all full-time and adjunct faculty. Having obtained an accounting degree, one of her many strengths is a clear understanding of load calculations, budget items, and expense claims. In addition to her obligation at work, Zoilema volunteers her time at her children's elementary, middle, and high schools, committing countless hours as a parent leader across several campuses. She is also very dedicated to her church and volunteers whenever possible. Congratulations.
Yeah. So, Ms. Martin, one more. We have a speaker for you. Yeah.
Jeffrey Michaels has to speak. I just want to say 30 seconds about Z. We call her Z because Zoilema can be difficult to pronounce. In my advocacy role, I'm often in Sacramento and hearing about super staffers who actually run the Capitol when the legislators come and go. Z runs the college. She really embodies the very best. She's my division secretary. I teach English at Contra Costa College. And Z just is one of those people who is the college. She is completely unflappable. Many faculty members are extremely paperwork challenged, as perhaps you know. And Z is the one who always looks at me with a little bit of a smile and says, I'll take it, I'll do it. Just stop asking, give it to me, I'll take care of it. How do I fill this out? I'm really sorry I didn't use the electronic evaluation form. Somebody has to type these, just give it to me, I'll do it. It just makes the entire college run well. And I want to just echo everything that the Chancellor said about classified staff and how important they are to faculty who, need to feel like we're supported and like we can go do our show. All of the mechanics of running the place just rely so much on staff. And I just can't imagine anybody better at it than Zoilema. She's just good for our morale every single day. And her desk is a hub where students and faculty and managers come to figure out how to get where they need to go. And we just couldn't do it without you. We really appreciate you. And you just couldn't have made a better choice. Thank you. And I brought you some flowers. I put them on your cake.
Oh my God, I wasn't expecting this. Well, I just want to thank for this recognition. I do my job without ever expecting anything, but this is really great. It's an honor. I'm representing my district, all the classified, because they all deserve this award, so I'm bringing it to them too. My family, because of all the many hours that I spend in the office, sometimes I have to bring them to my office so I can do my job.
Yeah.
So I thank them, my husband, my family, my parents that I recently lost 2 years ago. I'm sorry, and I know they're very proud of me. I see my job, the college for me is my second family, so I give it all to them because that's my family. And I thank you for having this reception for us. It's really nice for being able to be here and receiving this award. Thank you. I wasn't expecting to say anything, but I'm sorry I didn't prepare anything, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And our next recipient is Roberta McKinney from Sierra College. Roberta McKinney is a confidential executive secretary and has served her district for 37 years. In her long career at Sierra College, she has began less than a year after her graduation from Sierra College with an AA degree. Roberta consistently demonstrates an unfailing, optimistic, cheerful, can-do helpfulness and caring to whom she works, to all to whom she works. From students to the college president and trustees to faculty, deans, IT techs, custodians, temporary workers, regardless of who they are or what they do, she is positive, empathetic, helpful, always kind, often ingenious in solving problems. Roberta has, throughout her career at Sierra College and the community college and the California Community College, is one of the rare combinations of high professionalism and approachability to all she encounters. Roberta has earned the college's highest classified recognition in 1996 as Classified Member of the Year Award, and in 2009 she received a written commendation for her service to the college above and beyond the call of duty. In both 2013 and 2014, the ACCJC visiting team chairwoman singled her out for exemplary work assisting their site visit. Roberta serves in her community by volunteering with the Sierra College patrons, whose focus is on raising money for student scholarships, as well as with the Placer Land Trust, which works to support the preservation of green space in Placer County. Congratulations.
Thank you. I think somebody wanted to speak as well. Now we're getting quite a...
Julie Bruno.
It's Julie Bruno. So good morning, President Estolano, Chancellor Oakley, board members. This is a wonderful woman. Let me just say that. I met Roberta 17 years ago when I started at the college, and she was the face of the liberal arts division at that time. She knows everything. So my colleague Jeffrey showed me up. I didn't bring her flowers, but I just have to say that this is just a fabulous choice. She is a fantastic person, a wonderful woman, and the most dedicated employee I think that we have at Sierra College. So thank you for recognizing her, and gosh, congratulations.
Are we ever going to get you back?
Thank you.
Oh, how nice. Thank you, President Estolano, and congratulations, Chancellor Oakley, to your new position. Thank you, everyone. This is very exciting. I don't know if you said in there, I'm about to retire from Sierra College after 37 years. And so, yeah, I'm retiring next month, and so I really, it's just such a big deal, such a big deal. I feel like I'm really going out on top, you know. But I have loved my job. I still love my job. It seems too soon to go, but my husband's retired. So with my super generous $500 honorarium, I am buying a kayak. And we have a little house in North Idaho that we're going to summer at. And so I'm going to be enjoying my honorarium on a kayak in July. Thank you all. And I did notice, and thank you to you too, it's like a cornerstone here. You have the Liberal Arts Division Secretary, of which I was for 20 years. You have the instructional designer. Online colleges, online classes now are where it's what's going to save us all, I think. And the Welcome Center, so you need that for all the new students. And then I'm helping support in the background with the administrators. The classified staff really are just kind of helping get us all through, and I love my job, and I'm really happy about this award. Thank you all so much.
Congratulations. And our last recipient, but no means least, is Julie Vu from Mission College. Julie is the Welcome Center Program Coordinator. She has served the district for 17 years. As the coordinator of the Welcome Ambassadors, Julie proactively works with each student, mentoring them not only on her job roles, but also in important career and communication skills. Many students have grown under her support, changing from shy, quiet individuals to vocal, active team members. With a student-first philosophy, Julie provides exceptional leadership in her position at the Welcome Center, where thousands of students, prospective students, and families visit daily. She takes the time to give personal attention to everyone with whom she interacts. While sensitive to the diverse communities of students, Julie is keenly aware of the importance of strategic data-driven analysis in assessing programs' needs to ensure that services address the needs of internal and external constituents. She is collaborative with all units of the college and serves to make each student reach their goals and have the opportunities at the highest level, while modeling this leadership and service for staff and faculty. Julie's leadership outside of Mission College is evident through her work as a volunteer anchor with Net TV, a local Vietnamese television station located in San Jose. Julie has co-authored numerous segments of the community role model in discussing the importance of education and providing guidance on how to access information and resources within community colleges. Also, an active member in her church, Julie participates in fundraisers and sings in her church choir. Congratulations, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. I just prepared myself for a little note, so I'm getting nervous in front of everyone, so that's why I wrote it down. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. My name is Julie Vu, Program Coordinator for the Welcome Center at Mission College in Santa Clara. I am proud to be a classified member of the West Valley Mission College Community College District family. I will begin by saying how immensely honored and deeply humble I feel to receive this commendable award. I would like to thank the Board of Governors for California Community Colleges and the Chancellor's Office and the Foundation for the California Community Colleges for nominating me out so many wonderful staff. Thank you to so many my esteemed colleagues, leaders, and faculty who contribute to the success of the Welcome Center, where our students begin the enrollment process on their educational journey. My success and the Welcome Center would not be possible without the wonderful leadership, selfless support, and mentorship of our Mission College President Daniel Pike, Vice President of Student Services, Dr. John Mosby, and the Director of Student Equity and Success, Ken Sonko. I would also like to thank all our past and current student ambassadors who assist me every day with providing excellent customer service to our students, parents, general public, and prospective students. You are all amazing. We are very excited with the construction projects underway here at Mission College. Currently, the second phase of the main building program is being built and will complete it in spring 2018. This new building, the Student Engagement Center, will be the central location for our core college services, including new Welcome Center, registration process, student services program, student health services, and academic skills center, college administration, tutorial center, classrooms, computer labs, and college administration offices. Mission College statement is the first priorities are students, their learning, and their success. I am very blessed to be a part of this team and extremely grateful for everyone, including my parents and siblings, who has helped me to be where I am. I enjoy a daily interaction with students, staff, faculty, administrators, and the community, and I feel a deep connection with Mission College family. I will close by sincerely thanking everyone from the bottom of my heart for this amazing award. It would not be possible without your support. And please come and visit us if you're in area, and would love to see you. And also, I would like to say thank you so much for the wonderful reception. And as you mentioned, about $500, so I will help out some needy families in Vietnam. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's have a round of applause for all our awardees and ask them to come up for photos. Let's quickly get to the consent calendar. Item 1.1, which is our minutes. And thank you again, recipients. It was wonderful to have you. Thank you. Okay, 1.1.
Move consent.
Vice Chancellor Turner. Go ahead.
Good morning, President Estolano, members of the board, Chancellor Oakley. Item 1.1 is the meeting, the minutes from your prior meeting. So if there are any corrections or suggestions,
Does anybody have any corrections or changes? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Member Reed, second from Sumner. I have to now repeat this for everybody. Board Member Sumner. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, our next item is going to be the approval of the contracts and grants.
All right.
Chancellor Skinner.
so this item, again, is the approval of contracts and grants. It's one of the heavier
Yeah.
list of contracts and grants over the course of the year, and that's because many of these are laying the groundwork, getting the paperwork in order for the coming fiscal year. So I'll step through a few of the items. We have a couple of adjustments to note, but let me begin by just giving some of the highlights. So we have the contracts for the zero textbook cost program, and we're making awards for two of our districts to provide technical assistance to assist other colleges in implementing those the zero textbook cost curriculum. We have a number of grants dealing with system-wide technology, so the items 16 through 20 deal with the Technology Center operated out of Butte College. Also the initiatives such as the Common Assessment Initiative, the Online Education Initiative, and the Education Planning Initiative are all included at items 16 through 20. These are renewals of previously awarded contracts and really represent the backbone of the system-wide technology. So again, it's a continuation of those initiatives. Items 21 through 26 deal with a number of our workforce education programs, including item 21, which is an apprenticeship grant. In those, we also have the funding for the Strong Workforce Program for some statewide technical assistance. And lastly, the CT Data Unlocked initiative, which is funds efforts to expand the use of data in driving decision-making at the campus level around workforce training programs. So there's a highlight of the major items. The corrections that I'd like to include, one is on the Academic Senate grant number 3. We just identified that the dollar amount was incorrect in what appeared in the agenda, so the correct dollar amount is $768,000. And other than that, the structure of that grant is correct, but that's the correct dollar amount, $768,000. And then lastly, item 23, which is an apprenticeship grant. We're going to pull that from this item.
Okay.
Program staff has identified that they need to go back and do a little more work on that award before it's ready. So those are the two adjustments that I'd like to note to what appears in the agenda. And with that, I'm available for questions, and the other vice chancellors can help if you have deeper questions.
Okay, any questions? Board Member Hawkins? No? Board Member Valensky?
I have a question. It's more as we look at this, and I know the answer, but I want to ask the question anyway. I see a lot of these grants are for statewide programs. But doesn't it seem inefficient to then go through the process of then awarding them to a local district to conduct a statewide project, as opposed to many of these projects seem logically should be centralized, perhaps in the chancellor's in the system office for execution to ensure that their focus is on statewide service and also create maybe some better efficiencies in the use of these public funds. Is there a reason that it's not being done, or is it something that we should strategically think we should be moving toward, especially some of these just very logical statewide projects that have to do with statewide technology, statewide accountability and oversight and things like that?
So I will give you the quick answer. I'll turn it over to Eric to talk about some of the discussions that we're having right now with the Department of Finance and the Governor's Office about this issue. We recognize your point as well, and because of the way Prop 98 is structured and how Prop 98 dollars are distributed, it creates a number of different hoops to go through for the Chancellor's Office to use those funds. We recognize that is a very inefficient process, and so we've been in discussions with the Department of Finance about that issue. We hope that we will be able to improve on that efficiency over time. I think as you see more and more discussions about the governor's budget, focusing attention on the Chancellor's Office being responsible for carrying forward some of the requirements, that at least begins us down this path. But I turn it over to Eric to talk about some of the flexibility that we've been discussing with the Department of Finance.
Yeah, well, I would just piggyback on the question and the Chancellor's response. It definitely is not the way you'd structure a system if you had unlimited flexibility. And the reality is that the structure of Proposition 98 creates a framework in which it's much easier for state leaders to provide funding for statewide activities through Prop 98 than it is through the non-Proposition 98 funding. And that's because in the constitutional guarantee, there's a fixed amount of money that the state is on the hook for spending each year for Prop 98, so that money's already committed. Within that pool, it's easier for state leaders to identify, we want to fund online education. Let's put $20 million aside for that. It's much easier to do that on the Prop 98 side where the money must be spent, as opposed to the non-Prop 98 part of the budget where we're competing with everything from transportation to healthcare to welfare programs to tax reductions. I mean, that non Prop 98 part of the budget is much more fiercely competed. So we take what we can get, and state leaders, when they come forward and they want to fund a project like the Online Education Initiative or the Technology Center out of Butte or the Education Planning Initiative, what we've done is we've been receptive to those and accepted the inefficiencies that creates because of the benefit that can be done through these projects. It creates a challenge for our office in terms of trying to coordinate and manage these projects where oftentimes we're managing these projects at a physical distance. Oftentimes there are experts working under these contracts that have greater knowledge about their program that they're working on than anybody in the Chancellor's office, especially with some of the technology initiatives. And that is because once a contract receives the grant, they've got greater flexibility over salaries and being able to recruit the right talent to run these projects than we do as a state agency. So it's a messy situation. We do our best to manage these contracts and grants, to try to create order, try to make sure that we're operating these contracts and grants in a coordinated fashion where we're leveraging the capacity that's added, but it's a second best solution. So a couple of things I think the Chancellor was alluding to that we've are included in this in the governor's budget proposal. One is some additional staffing for the Chancellor's office, and when you add the additional capacity in our office, it gives us greater capacity to manage these contracts and grants and to stay on top of them. And so thankfully the governor's budget proposes a total of 6 additional staff for our agency, many in the research and programming areas, which are at the heart of many of these initiatives. In addition, the governor's budget also has proposed language around our contracting authority, which would allow us to directly contract for these statewide technical assistance initiatives, so that it would reduce the need to competitively bid those each time that they come up. So the first time out, over a certain dollar threshold, they'd be competitively bid. But after that, the Chancellor's office would have the authority to continue to work with one of these providers. Those contracts and grants would still come back before you as a board for your approval. They would be sunshined publicly, but the added benefit is that we wouldn't have to rebid these every 4 years. You can imagine it's a challenge to get a district sometimes to lock into these large statewide projects if they have no guarantee that it's going to be with them over the longer haul. So again, it would allow us to have a little bit more predictability and certainty in how we manage these projects. Those are some of the ways we work around this challenge. It'd be my preference to have the resources actually here in our agency so that we could manage it in a centralized way. But we deal with it in order to, because we'd rather have the capacity to do more work, even if it's through these extended contracts, as opposed to not have that opportunity.
I'm just going to ask, because from my head, just making the calculations here, we're making about could be $100 million in awards with this vote, and it's and we as a system, as the governor has shown more support for the system in the legislature, we're also feel this, the burden of accountability. We want to have transparency and accountability for that in return for that confidence that's been placed in this system, which I think is well deserved. But then we lose the ability to exercise as much oversight as we might otherwise have when those funds go to different districts. And I don't want to take anything away, or I'm not questioning the stewardship in some of the districts that get these grants. They've been managing them well for a number of years. But when I'm making a vote of $100 million, I want to make sure that we have as direct a line of oversight of those resources as possible. And anything that takes away takes away from the public has provided this funding, and if there's efficiencies that are unnecessary that could actually free up resources to even provide more support for instruction or students or other things like that, I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. That's my point.
Okay. Board Member Blansky?
I just want to comment on a few of the grants because of the value that they provide to our system. Very important. It's good to hear that there's more money for the State Academic Senate, there's money for the Student Senate, there's money for FCMAT, and we know how important FCMAT has been to many of our colleges. There's money for ASSIST, and I'm an articulation officer in ASSIST support, and I do want to say thank you to Holly DeMay for all of the hard work she continues to put into that project. And you mentioned OEI and you mentioned ed planning, and I tend to think that when we start to address the governor's letter, the OEI and the educational planning need to be looked at in terms of how they can be used to respond.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Epstein, or Vice President Epstein.
Hi. You may have already answered this, Vice Chancellor Skinner. On number 16, we're giving a $6 million new grant competitively bid, and there was only one bidder. Is that unusual, and is that because of the point you just made, is that not many colleges are willing to take a big risk if it's something that's not going to be permanent?
Yeah, I think it's partly that, and it's also partly the fact that the Butte Community College District has been operating this grant for a number of years and has really developed a capacity there and expertise that would be very difficult, candidly, for another district to come in and try to compete against them because of the amount of expertise that they've developed over time. And again, it's a this is capacity. I would argue that it is permanent, ongoing capacity that our system needs. I think in a perfect world, it would be operated out of our office. This is the second best, and I think as long as Butte keeps performing as they're performing, doing good work, I think that there won't be a lot of competition, candidly, probably for that grant. At this point, I think they have over 100, or rather over 100 employees. So you keep in mind, it's a pretty substantial operation. We have about 165 employees in our office. You add up the work being done out of the Technology Center and the Online Education Initiative, the Education Planning Initiative around the state, there are probably more employees out there through these various contracts and grants than there are in this office. And that's part of the kind of this kind of unwieldy structure that we have to manage on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, I just have another quick question on number 21. I noticed that some of the grants are to high school districts, and is that, I'm not familiar with the history of this, is that something we always do? I mean, is that unusual?
I think Vice Chancellor Quinn-Libben is going to weigh in on that.
If you remember, the governor had moved the apprenticeship program from the K-12 system to our system, and when they did that, then these pre-apprenticeship programs became eligible to both systems. So it's unusual.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Board Member Haynes.
So this has been a really informative discussion and even helpful. It's very helpful to me. One of the but I do have a question on the benefits of pushing some contracts that are statewide down to campuses to build their capacity. I think Butte is a perfect example, and there may be others within the system in which, and I'm thinking of more rural. But there may be some benefits to doing that, and I wouldn't want that sort of completely overshadowed. I think there's a balance between the oversight of this body, which is absolutely necessary, but then also what are those projects that build capacity, not just sort of centralized, but build capacity within the system, and to have that as part of the thinking as well.
Any other comments or questions? I'm going to comment on this. Both Board Member Baum and Vice President Epstein actually focused in on my very same questions. And I think my discomfort with it is the volume and the number of these contracts. And it does seem to me, certainly on the technology field, you're just never going to have competition. So you look again and again and again, it's usually just one college has competed for it because they've built up the capacity. But it doesn't negate our oversight role. And so for something like a $10 million or a $5 million or $6 million contract, which is many of the ones you see here, 16, 17, 18, number 18 is not to exceed 10 million, they're in their 5th year. 19, not to exceed 6 million. If you add them all up, these are really, really large. Number 20, not to exceed 8 million in their 5th year of a 5-year contract. It might be appropriate, and we can talk offline, Deputy Chancellor, to at least come back to the board with a report on how these initiatives went and an evaluation of the performance. We're kind of stuck, in a sense, we're sort of stuck with the infrastructure we've built, but we never get that feedback because although it's competed, there really is only one vendor, and that's one particular college that's built up the expertise. It doesn't mean we still don't play an oversight role. So we should talk offline about how best to exercise that oversight role. Whenever you see really large contracts over multiple years that continue to be awarded to the same college, it does make me a little uncomfortable. I'm now in my 4th year on the board, and I just keep seeing the same couple of colleges getting these large contracts. The one that used to be Board Member Baum's pet peeve was the technology, the conference calling one and video conferencing. So now that I'm sitting here, I feel the same way that you did. So maybe we can talk about how best to exercise that oversight role. Yeah.
And if I could just note, on the technology initiatives, it was perhaps long ago that we should do it again, but we had the common assessment, the education planning, and the online ed folks come in and present. And if you remember,
2 months ago or 2 meetings ago, yeah.
Yeah, so we can definitely do that as frequently as you like, and I think in that process you will see that some of the experts that come to the table are those the senior project managers out of those colleges. It's a pretty formidable level of expertise that's out there, and what I would like to fight for is a day when we have more of those people here in this office so we can appropriately manage those contracts with and provide that oversight that you're looking for. And in the meantime, it's the state funds us how they fund us, and we will do quality work and make the most of it. In a more rational world, I think this office would be a little more robust. Yeah.
Appreciate that. One last comment by Board Member Avalos.
Thank you very much. So my question is, oversight, accountability is really important to me, and obviously to the board. The question is, do we have, if this is the way it is, do we have a dashboard, something that allows us to look at things very quickly to say, red, yellow, green, something like that, on these big programs that we're rolling out, or these big initiatives that are out there that, over multiple years, something that allows us to say, we can go on site, we can go online, and we can see how effective, or based on these metrics or these, criteria, performance indicators, we see how they're doing, right? To me, this is the problem I think that's been highlighted is like, we're responsible for oversight, but yet there's no mechanism by which we can get there. So if it is what it is, let's get down to the bottom and understand what are we looking at and how successful they are over a period of time. Is that something we can do?
The short answer is yes. I mean, in the long term, we have to. There's several issues going on here. One is create the capacity we need within the Chancellor's office to do what you just asked. We don't have the current capacity, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but we need to change that. Because we can't provide the oversight and the technical support that we need to the field without the bodies in the agency. And so we have been working on this with the Department of Finance. I mean, we've made some progress in this last budget. We're looking at increasing our capacity through the foundation as well. But, we agree with you that it's critical for us to have the ability to measure whether or not these funds are having the intended impact, which is improving student outcomes. Every single dollar allocated should be improving student outcomes. We don't have the capacity of yet. That's frustrating. But it is my intent, and is the intent of the Chancellor's office staff, that we are going to work our way there. And that is my goal, to continue to work with the legislature, with finance, with the governor's office, and then beyond that, seek other ways that we can increase the capacity of the Chancellor's office to do exactly what you just said.
This time I'll entertain a motion on the contracts. Board Member Hawkins, do I have a second? Oh, wait, I'm looking for our counsel would like to make a comment. Please come forward, Jake. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
It would be
As
with
amended.
the increase as amended. Yeah,
Got it.
increased item number 2 and removing item 23.
Thank you. Okay, Board Member Hawkins, and I have Board Member Belansky as a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Extensions? Thank you. The motion is approved. Board members, can we get through the first reading before we take a break? Think we can do it? Let's go. Okay, so we're now into item 3.1, the regulations governing standards and criteria for courses, approval of credit courses and programs, conditions for claiming attendance. That's a mouthful. Vice Chancellor Walker, welcome.
Good morning, President Estelano, Vice President Epstein, board members, Chancellor. With my colleagues, Dean Jackie Escajeda and our good legal counsel, Jake Knapp, we're here to present this item. We have been talking about curriculum for almost 3 years. And if you recognize that anything we do, no matter how good it is, students come to take classes. So curriculum is singly the most important thing that we're doing. Right, Joseph? Thank you. So this is a first reading of proposed regulations of many things that we brought forward to you. But in this particular item, we're going to be talking about programs and courses for credit. So credit courses and credit programs. And just let me give you a quick update on the things we've done relative to the intersection of many key initiatives. We heard from the field 3 years ago that we couldn't get our curriculum turned around fast enough here at the Chancellor's office. 3 years ago, we had 25 or 3,000 courses. I call them items, but pieces of curriculum, either a course or a series of courses in a program that could have been 18 months or 2 years behind. You cannot turn around and do something when the colleges have done all their work, and then we don't have the staff and capacity to adjust that work and get it back to the colleges. So We realized through the Student Success Initiative, through the Workforce Initiative, through the Online Education Initiative, that we needed to do our job better. I can tell you today, and Dean Escajeda, I can congratulate significantly, we have fewer than 10 ADTs in the queue. We have fewer than 600 pieces of curriculum in some capacity in the queue, because we've made lots of changes and we've hired retired annuitants to help us out. So we've done everything we can to increase capacity, and now we have to start this work of local control. So I'm going to have Dean Escajeda tell you the significant work we're doing. But before we do that, I will tell you that this is a joint effort with my colleagues in the Faculty Senate, and I need to call out Dolores Davidson first and foremost, because she is across this state doing a ton of workshops on technical assistance, and with the chief instruction officers. And not to call out Butte again, but one of the vice presidents of instruction is the vice president at Butte, and she has been just a significant carrier of this as well. So I'll let Jackie tell them their story.
Good morning. So the Academic Affairs Division has been very thoughtful and methodical with the changes to the curriculum process. We are working very close with the California Community Colleges Curriculum Committee, which is 5C, co-chaired by Dolores Davison and CIO Virginia Gulev. Through 5C, a curriculum streamlining workgroup was established. These members include chief executive officers, chief instructional officers, members of the Academic Senate, staff from the Chancellor's office, and other members of 5C. This workgroup met several times, and through many discussions and research, the workgroup made the following recommendations. Transfer authority to approve curriculum from the Chancellor's office to the districts and the colleges. This will be done in phases. In the first phase, as Dr. Walker said, we will do credit courses and credit programs, with the exception of associate degrees for transfer, also known as ADTs. It was also recommended that the Chancellor's office will provide more training to the colleges and districts on curriculum. We will also provide technical assistance to ensure colleges and districts remain in compliance. The last recommendation was to establish a certification process that all the colleges would certify that they are in compliance with the rules of curriculum. This certification would be signed on an annual basis by the chief executive officer, chief instructional officer, and the curriculum chair. To implement these recommendations, we need to make changes to Title V. Another work group through 5C was created to work on these changes. Once these changes were made, it was vetted through 5C, and now we're going through the regulation process with the guidance of Jake Knapp from legal. The areas the Title V workgroup focused on was transferring authority from the Chancellor's office to the districts and colleges to approve credit courses and credit programs, with the exception of ADTs. We also added language regarding the certification of curriculum. We also put in there the consequences if the colleges and districts do not remain in compliance. And lastly, we wanted to improve on the guidance of the rules to create credit courses and credit programs. And now I will hand it off to Jake.
Just really quickly, I thought this was a great opportunity to provide a very brief overview of the regulations process, the rulemaking process, because the adoption of regulations is a very important function of the Board of Governors, and the legislature has vested this board with the authority to create law. So just very broadly, and I would be happy to answer any specific questions you have offline or after, this is a first reading. So for those who may be new or we haven't had a regs package in several meetings, just a reminder, with any regulatory package, the Administrative Procedures Act and your standing orders of the Board of Governors requires that there be a 45-day public comment period. And for this particular set of regulations, my office handles the noticing and the process of regulations. We sent out the notice on these regs on May 3rd. The 45-day comment period will conclude on June 21st. So there's an extended period of time that we're really at the front end of, where we'll be receiving comments from any interested parties within the system or members of the public. Today is a public hearing on these regulations that have been proposed. And the rules require that we hold one public hearing at some point during the 45-day open comment period, and that falls today. Even after today's public hearing, again, there are plenty of opportunities for interested folks to submit comments, questions, and other things to our office about these regulations. Once the comment period ends, we'll kind of pull together all the comments that we've had, and we have an obligation to respond to every single comment that we receive. And when these regulations come back before you for adoption, second reading, you will have as an attachment all of the comments that were received by the office and all of our proposed responses, so that you will have a full information as far as what we have heard from the interested parties, and you can take that into consideration. If at any point during this process it becomes necessary to amend our proposal, tinker with it a little bit, or whatever the case may be, depending upon whether the changes are sufficiently related, we can do an additional 15-day notice, and we re-noticed all of the interested parties. I'll stop there because I love the technical details of this. But there's a process in place, and we're at the front end, and today we're receiving public comment.
We have one public comment. Go ahead, Tom.
Julie Bruno.
Good morning again. I just wanted to thank both Vice Chancellor Walker and Jackie Escajeda here for their leadership throughout this entire process, as well as my colleagues Dolores Davison and Virginia Guloff, and the members of 5C. They have done phenomenal work, but they have not been alone. And Jackie had indicated that there's been a number of folks that have been involved in this process through the task force, but there have also been a number of folks in the field that have provided both solicited and unsolicited comments as we move through this process. And they have been instrumental in making sure that we have looked at everything that we needed to look at. I think this group has done just a fantastic job, and I think it's really going to be very beneficial for our colleges and our students. It's going to make us more nimble in turning around curriculum, and it really provides the level of oversight at the colleges that we need to make sure that our curriculum is 100% up to snuff. So thank you so much for all the work that you've done, and thanks to my colleagues across the state.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak in the public hearing? Jake, again. I'm supposed to read something and do a gavel, aren't I? I know. Okay. So this is a first reading and a public hearing for proposed regulations related to the standards and criteria for courses, credit hours, the approval of credit courses and programs, and the conditions for claiming attendance. The Chancellor and the staff have provided information on the item. So the public hearing on item 3.1, the proposed amendments to California Code of Regulations, Title V, Sections 55002, 002.5, 55100, 55130, and 58050 is now open. The purpose of the hearing is for the Board of Governors to receive comments and testimony from members of the public regarding the proposed regulations. At this time, the floor is open for comments from the public. We had one already. This is not your last call, but if you want to talk, this is a good time to do it. Okay. All right. I want to open this up. Are there any other additional members of the public who would like to speak? Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. This concludes the public hearing on this matter. I'm going to turn to members of the Board of Governors for comments, but first I'm going to preempt and take the chair's prerogative to do a pet peeve. So I know that you all have gone over this carefully, so there must be a reason. On page 7 and page 9, this would be section... It's number 3C, which would be amending section 55100D, sorry. The Chancellor may at any time limit or terminate the ability of a district to approve or offer credit courses if it is determined. Why are we using the passive voice? Does the Chancellor determine, or does some undetermined person determine? there's a reason you all did not use she or he, Jake. What is that reason? And it's also used in that same construction is used on page 9 under E. Again, this goes to the chancellor kind of revoking the ability of colleges to approve curriculum if it is determined, but one would think it's the chancellor who determines. So in E, the chancellor may at any time limit or terminate the ability of a district to approve or offer educational programs if it is determined. We should say who determines that. And my sense is it's the chancellor's office or the chancellor who determines it. Is that correct? But I want to know if there's some reason why you didn't do that, because there might have been. No? Okay, that's, and I don't think it's substantive. I think it's just a clarification in better English. Okay, thank you. That was my pet peeve. So substantive comments. Anybody on the board? Board Member Mon? Afan? Okay, Board Member Malatsky.
Well, I do want to start out by saying thank you, because this is something I think that local districts have wanted for years. I mean, that's why we got the approval several years ago to do standalone courses. Then we lost it for a few years, and now it's back there. So Dean Escajeda and Vice Chancellor Walker, thank you. Now, when you say it's credit programs, that's even new credit programs?
Yes, all
Okay.
credit programs with the exception of ADTs.
The other thing that's spoken about twice in here is about the requirement of training. And I'd like to suggest somehow if, say, even the 5C group could come up with some very basic PowerPoint that could be provided to districts. When that was done years ago for the standalone course approval process, it was very important because key items were dealt with at every district. You couldn't, and then people signed some kind of a form back then that, yep, I went through the training and I can sit on this curriculum committee and do this approval. And I think there's value to that. And the other thing that I'm asked about, will there be a plan as we move forward in the future for non-credit, apprenticeship, and cooperative education?
Well, there absolutely is a plan, but if we did all of this at one time,
Exactly.
we would have chaos on the colleges. We have a little chaos going on right now. So there are some who've been doing this for 25 years, and this is the way they want to do it. But if we move it slowly and methodically with a lot of workshops and help throughout the year, we'll get this part of the process completed. By the time we have the Curriculum Institute, which is in July, they will start immediately on non-credit, because the non-credit comes into Title V and a variety of other places, and move those others. We won't move the ADTs until we spend a little more time with CSU and even UC about the reality is every course that we take should be approved to be completed used for completion in CSU and UC. So it's going to take a little more conversation, but I think we're in very good shape with non-credit in this next year.
For your question on training and providing material to the field, 5C has discussed that, and we're talking about templates and everything to provide to the field so that, yes, the Chancellor's office will be doing some training, but we also want to give the tools to the field so they can train each other.
Great, thank you. Board Member Phan.
Thank you. I think it's a logical move, if not a common sense approach, in my view, that local districts have the final say and the authority to approve curriculum and courses. As I was listening to your report, I can't help but reflect on several semesters ago that I actually initiated and sought approval from my campus, a new course, and more recently, a new program to offer students opportunities in entrepreneurship. And what went on at the local level, at least at my campus, was once a course is initiated, it gets into technical review. That means the department chair and faculty from that department have to approve. Once approved, then it moves to first reading at the curriculum committee of the local campus. And then it gets a second reading. After the second reading, if all gets approved, then it moves to the district curriculum committee. And then, so that's step 4. And step 5 is the Board of Trustees, if all of those are met. And the timeline is it's at least 1 semester long, if not a year. And after going through all that, for it to come to the Chancellor's office and sit for I don't know how much longer, that means the local campus is not allowed to teach that course, which has been envisioned for at least a year or if not more. So that giving the local district that authority, in my view, is, like I said, common sense. However, I'm hearing that you're creating templates and creating certifications and whatnot at the local district. I wonder if you can, in the next 45 days or as we roll this out, that you can actually encourage or advise or somehow get local districts, because I come from a multi-campus districts and there's a campus and a district level. In single campus district, there may be only one vetting process. But I'm hoping that there will be rigor and the approval process at the campus or the local district level be as rigorous as possible so that the courses being approved for students to take are thoroughly vetted by faculty, staff, administrators, and up to the Board of Trustees at the local level. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Board Member Collins.
Just briefly turning to page 5 for credit hour definition, I was curious why the change was made from referring to hours that are considered for community college work from lecture, study, or laboratory to total student work. Just what exactly is the need for that change, or what does that entail?
So what we know in the units and hours, that there are a variety of mechanisms that a student can receive credit. It could be lecture, it could be lab, it could be some level of study. So we're trying to make it easier for the colleges to present this information as opposed to delineating each one so specifically. We're trying to open this up for the future as well. So when people start looking at ways to determine the number of hours that a student takes to get the appropriate unit, different things start to come into play. Study has become part of that. So we're trying to just be a little more, have a little more foresight in what we're looking at in the future as well. I'd like for no one to have to do this again in any short period of time.
Okay, Vice President Epstein, followed by Board Member Belansky.
Was the question about... Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay.
I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work on this, and I'm very much a fan of making things simpler and faster. The one question I have is about if the colleges are being given this authority, how are we ensuring that a course at one college is going to be similar enough to a course at another college so that a student can go from one college to another in the same sequence and make sure that it all works?
So we have 72 districts, and each of those districts have the right to, form the curriculum that they believe is appropriate. Using articulation, as Board Member Belansky does, will help with some of that work. I think that this is not, we may not ever be exactly on top of what you're asking. Can you take English 1 at in the far north, and could it be exactly like English 1 in the far south? The essence of the courses could be the same. The way they're taught could be a little different. But if we do it right, along with our new curriculum inventory that we're launching now, you could actually pluck that course in entrepreneurship that Board Member Fan is doing, pluck that course and use it in Southern California, but you'll still have to go through your appropriate approval processes in your district. But you could be able to use the course outline, and then you could have it approved in your district. We aren't at a place today to just say, we're approving everything across the state. Districts have to approve their own, or colleges have to approve their own curriculum, but they may be able to use the appropriate curriculum that somebody else has designed.
That's not exactly what I'm
Okay.
asking. What I'm asking
Credit.
is that if someone takes English 1 at Sierra College and then they transfer to San Bernardino and they want to take English 2, will they be assured that the English 1 course they took is going to be a significant, adequate prerequisite for English 2 at some other college?
First
The
thing-
answer is.
The first thing that most colleges will do will go into the new assist system, and you will look at, and that's how you make a decision. Was that course deemed to transfer to UC and CSU? And you're saying 1 and 2, those are freshman composition probably. And you look that up. You do some homework on the assist system that shows, yes, that course meets the UC and CSU requirements, therefore it meets our requirements. But you don't just make the judgment on your own. You use these other processes in order to know what to do with the course. It takes a little bit of research. Many times that research is done by a counselor. And the counselor then, because even here with the grants, we have the Counselor Transfer website, where a lot of this stuff is going to get vetted on the new transfer counselor website. So, I mean, it's that kind of thing you have to do of research, which is what an articulation officer does.
Okay, so I think our faculty members want to have a back and forth. I'll let you go, Board Member Belansky, and then we have Board Member Fawn one more time. I think you had a comment.
I want to go back to the definition of a credit hour, where it's 48 semesters. Was the question about the number of hours? But there is a definition, and I suspect that what is running that is the Carnegie unit. It's to be more clear that we are using the Carnegie unit within our system, which has been nationally agreed to. And the other thing I would say about curriculum is that when we put together curriculum locally, we really should be looking at, will it transfer? Are we going to put that course forward as a transfer course so that students don't just get credit for an associate degree or a certificate but can take that? Or will it fill CTE requirements, career technical education? Will it fill CID? We now have CID.
Right.
Will it fulfill those requirements to get improved? And another big area is what we call acceleration, to move students quicker through English and math. So, I mean, there's a lot of focus at the local level about how, at a curriculum committee, about how to put it together. And many times that's which we do at our college, why you do a technical review. Because you go in and do technical review 1 week and then approve the course the next week.
Okay. Board Member Fawn, followed by Board Member Sumner.
Just very quick to augment what Joe was saying, Tom, the coordination between the counseling staff and the department for approving that course that you just mentioned, we have what we call a course waiver form. So there is collaboration between the department and the counseling in determining whether that course meets the requirement, if you will, for the student to advance or take additional courses. And ASSIST is one of those things that we look at, as well as student learning outcomes and course guidelines and all this stuff. So there's a plethora of tools to use to determine whether this course taken from another college will be satisfied by another college.
And be reminded that we also have CID, that common course identifier, that our faculty work hours and hours to make sure that articulation is working across the state and with CSU.
Board Member Sumner.
Just for clarity, the veteran credit doesn't fall into this, and it's sort of separate, right? Yeah, because I was just looking, because when you read some of this, it's like credit for hours and stuff like that, because when you get a veteran that comes in, they have a lot of experience and stuff, and I know it's an ongoing battle. We're probably the slowest state in giving college credit for work in the military and credit. So I'd just like to see, it's not a part of this, but maybe it should be a part of this, because some of this I see correlates.
So the prior learning is not necessarily a part of this, but it is this bigger picture that we've been working on relative to the colleges giving prior learning experience for their unit values.
Okay, I think that's it for comments from members of the board. I'll just close by saying thank you all for working so hard on this. I mean, this is the essence of what you do, hence the passionate debate among our faculty members here. The last thing I want to say is that the reason this is so important, just to pull back a little bit, if we're going to be nimble, if we're going to be responsive to the rapid changes in our economy, the rapid changes in the way people learn and the skills they need, we have to be able to approve curriculum in less than 3 years, 2 years, maybe even a year. So I'm going to toss it to the Chancellor. I think he wanted to close off this discussion, and it's a first reading. We don't take a vote. We just comment. We take public comment. Thank you, General Counsel, for explaining that to everybody. Chancellor.
Yes, I also want to give my thanks to everyone involved. And before I make my comments, let me just be very clear. I don't mean any disrespect in my comments to anyone in this room. But if you just play the tape of what we just discussed to the general public, they would look at us and ask the question, what the hell are we doing? So I'm going to state the obvious. You know, we are here to improve the opportunity for students to take classes they need to better their lives and not make it more complicated. And we have a complicated system, and I, as a member of the system, blame myself for part of that complication. But we have to take this as an opportunity to continue to improve the ability of a student to clearly and concisely and easily track which courses they're taking, whether they're taking courses at Long Beach City College or College of the Siskiyous. And I know that our faculty colleagues feel the same way, our administrators feel the same way, so we have to find a way to get this done. Because, you know, we're talking amongst people in the system, the 1 or 2% in the state, to the other 98% of the people in the state, they have no idea what we just talked about. All they care about is how can their children, how can they get the classes they need to get to a point where they can better their lives. And so let's continue to focus on making this as navigable as possible for each and every one of the members of the state of California who access our system.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to take a 7-minute break. We'll be back at 11:35.